Resident Evil.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm here with Mc0nel. He's a good friend of mine, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Resident Evil as a franchise before Resident Evil 9 comes out in a couple or few days, whenever this video is supposed to come out. So, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about your experience or how you feel about Resident Evil, I guess, or if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, hi, I'm Mc0nel. I normally upload animation kind of videos and music and more artistic kind of things, I guess. And yeah, so I want to talk about more gaming stuff on my channel just to kind of diverse my content a little more. I like to have a variety of things. So my thing is, though, Resident Evil is a very important franchise to me. As a video game series, it's my favorite video game series of all time for a lot of reasons. Like I said, it's a very special video game series to me, and it's because I've made a lot of friends, very close friends like Mercy. I've bonded with a lot of people over those games, and I got introduced with Resident Evil 6, but my first ever one was Resident Evil 4 back in 2012 on the PlayStation 3. I would have been maybe 6 years old. I could be wrong, but Resident Evil has been a part of my life for a long time. It's my favorite. It's in my big four of like video games where I have Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Solid, and Silent Hill. But it's my favorite of those. So thank you, Mercy, for having me on the channel, and I'd love to talk Resident Evil with you. That's how me and him became friends too. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm sorry. It's so weird. Talking like this. I mean, being on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've talked about a lot of Resident Evil stuff in the past, so I don't. I apologize to you if I think we're both going to repeat a lot of things we've talked about, but I think it's cooler. Yeah, I think it's cooler at least just letting it out. Here. So
especially since Resident Evil 9 is coming out. I don't know if you want to Are you really excited for that, or?
I mean, you already heard me before say I don't know much about it really. I've seen the first trailer. I haven't seen any of the other trailers, so I know there's a specific character which I don't even think is a spoiler at this point. He's in it, and I've seen clips of it, but I don't really know hardly. And it's not really because of I don't want spoilers or anything. I just haven't been really paying much of attention, and I guess it also could be not spoiler, but. Just wait until it comes out, and I guess we'll see what happens. So I am excited. I wish I was a little bit more excited compared to like other games, like maybe 4 Remake or Village. Maybe it's because I was a little bit younger. I don't know, but yeah, I'm fairly excited. What about you?
So it was kind of I guess it was very like mixed at first, or it was kind of a mixed kind of, I guess, excitement. It was more of because, and I know I'm going to be discussing it later in the video, but I think it's a good point to make right now. So my thing was, it was the next mainline Resident Evil game. It wasn't a remake, because I feel like Capcom really redeemed themselves. Which I'm not saying like Resident Evil 3 remake or Village were bad, but they were pretty disappointing games. As much as I love them. Capcom really redeemed themselves with Resident Evil 4, but the thing was, that was a remake. Now we're going on to another mainline game, and potentially the last mainline game in the series. And with how Village's story turned out, with whoever sees this video, I know somebody's going to disagree with me because a lot of people like Village's story. I don't like it. I don't like Village's story at all. It's a horrible story in my opinion, and my thing was, I don't know. The story could be amazing, or it could be horrible in Requiem. So that's something I'm very worried about. And I was very worried about it because I thought it would be another thing where it was like Resident Evil 7 and Village. As much as I love 7 and Village, I do have my criticisms with 7 and Village. It was up until the point I got to see the Leon gameplay, and that's when I started getting super excited. Like, yeah, you have Grace Ashcroft and her more survival horror looking areas, but the Leon stuff, and I'm a huge Leon fan, and I'm not saying that because it's Leon or anything or whatever. It's just because the gameplay looks very appealing to me. It reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 6. And me personally, I love Resident Evil 6 a lot, even though it has its issues. So it reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 6, and it started to excite me. And me and my best friend split 50-50 money-wise to pre-order it because we wanted to play those sections. And I think and probably, and I'm stupid for this, it's probably Capcom's way of saying, hey, buy our game, because Leon's parts look a lot more fun than Grace's, and Grace's might lack in areas. And hey, you know what, Capcom, it worked because I bought the game. So yeah, I'd say I'm very excited, dude. It was, and it's funny too because yesterday at the time of recording this video was Valentine's Day. And I completely forgot it was Valentine's Day until my mom came home and told me and my dad.
Sorry.
It was till my mom came home to tell us, like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. Me and my dad, because we forgot. Me and my dad don't care about Valentine's Day. I told my dad straight up, the only day I care about in February is the 27th because that's the new Resident Evil. So. That's the only day I really care about in February. Fuck. I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear. Screw Valentine's Day. So yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Well, I hope you can make love on the 27th. It is the 27th, right?
Yeah, it's coming out the 27th.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the 28th. So, maybe I'm wrong.
Is it?
I think I'm wrong. It might be the 27th. Yeah.
When me and
yeah, it's the 27th. Sorry.
Yeah, when I pre-ordered it with my friend, it said we get it on the 26th because it's digital, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, why is it saying the 26th? And for a while I thought like the 26th was the actual official release date, but now it's the 27th. And the thing that sucks is, even though we're getting it early, he's still in school because I'm a high school graduate. He's still in school. And the day it comes out, it's on a freaking school night, and it's like our whole plan was to be like, hey, let's come over to my house, stay up all night. We're beating this game.
Oh my
God.
God.
I mean, I will say, like, maybe my only criticism is like the deluxe edition. I don't think it's worth it because like the costumes, like every Resident Evil, like when it comes out, the costumes they'll become like when it first comes out, it's not all available yet, but maybe after a month or 2 or 3, all the deluxe content's going to be available. I can commend Capcom for that, but it's like, it's not worth the extra 10.
Yeah. I'm not planning on getting the deluxe edition. I'm probably just going to get the normal edition.
I didn't get it either.
Well, it's more like for PC standards because I'm probably going to play it on a channel, obviously, but if I got it on PlayStation, I'm gonna end up when it's on sale.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping like I can like get gameplay footage because it's not on my Xbox because I don't have a new gen. It's on on my friend's Xbox, so I'm hoping I can get like gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going over there to like get gameplay footage and review it and like pump out a video. I would love to put out a video more because like it's where my channel is kind of going towards more, I guess. But I would love to get gameplay footage, but at the same time I would hey, me and my best friend are bonding over Resident Evil. That's how we bonded before, and yeah,
you can bond over wow, I was gonna say ×2 Valentine's Day. I guess ×2 Valentine's Day would have been the 28th. Yeah, if you multiplied by 2, but
February 27th is what's it called? It's basically Christmas for Resident Evil fans.
Oh yeah.
As whatever day.
I mean, it's been 3
Resident Evil
years.
4.
Yeah,
It has been.
it's been 3
it
years,
has?
and the last movie was also 3 years ago. Too. Well, I know not that movies matter, but like CGI movie, Separate Ways was 3 years ago. Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I
it used to
forgot.
be a thing of like, oh, Resident Evil. They've been releasing either yearly and then it's every other, and it's like, no, well,
yeah, it's been
3
it's
years.
been getting pretty fatiguey. Yeah, it's been getting pretty fatiguey, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
And
been
5
3
years
now.
since the 8th one, really. So that's kind of
Really?
crazy. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. 2021, it was
It's-
I think March or February, or no, maybe it was April. I don't know when Village came out. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I'm
It's crazy. Now
I'll
you
say
get
what
first person, third person, you get action, you get horror. Apparently, so it's crazy.
it's crazy because like they were gonna have the I'm sure you know this. They're gonna have the first person, third person, and fixed camera angles in Resident Evil 2 remake,
Mhm.
which they cut because they felt like the fixed stuff was kind of outdated, which I think is lame.
I thought you were gonna say Requiem was gonna have fixed camera. I was like, wait, what?
Oh no!
Damn
Oh
it.
no! They're trying to get money from their fans, not scare them away.
We're so close. I mean, hey,
So-
I've always said this. If it would be so awesome if we had Resident Evil 4, the original, to get like its own remaster, because I love the gameplay so much, like its own thing, or maybe extra content with it, because I think it's so cool. And I'm sure there's so many mods out there that like work with the original way of, but like it's the most satisfying, and we'll get to that later anyway. But it's the most satisfying Resident Evil game to me. But if they could do that with the original games too, I would replay those on like a remaster, like a straight up like remastered version of the same gameplay and everything. I'd love that. That would be amazing.
I think it would be really cool if they found a mod for Resident, like for both the remake and the original. It would be really cool if they took like a mod of Dante from Devil May Cry and put it into Resident Evil. Because well, for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure everybody does know, now everybody and their mothers know, Resident Evil or Devil May Cry was originally Resident Evil 4. And it's now its own series, and I think, and it's both by Capcom, and I think it'd be really cool if they added like Dante into Resident Evil in some way, or Resident Evil into Devil May Cry in its own way.
Oh yeah.
Because they'll put Mega Man in everything, but if it's like Resident Evil or Devil May Cry, forget it.
Yeah.
So
as long as they have the rights, they have all the rights, so that'll be really cool.
well, yeah, it's all Capcom IPs.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
Like they could.
I'm surprised they haven't yet.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, besides like maybe Marvel versus Capcom, that's like the only time they've really, quote unquote, truly collaborated. But that's about it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know much about Devil May Cry and all that stuff. I mean, we've talked about some things before, but I still haven't played it to this day. But that would be
You need to
cool.
play it.
I'll get to it sometime. I don't know. I don't know when.
Sure.
Someday.
Whenever this video comes out, to everybody who's watching, tell this dude to play Devil May Cry. It's amazing. Anyways,
We'll eventually. I don't know, but yeah. Do you want to go on to I guess because we're only talking about for those who don't know, we're only talking about the mainline games. I had to specify this. Okay, I had to specify this because you can say a bunch of them are mainline, right?
Mostly numbered. Mostly
Mostly
games.
numbered. Yes, mostly numbered. The only one that isn't numbered is Code Veronica, but I feel that it is just way too important to not include it. I don't want to pretend like it doesn't exist. Like you could say, oh, well, the Outbreak games are cool. Which, by the way, my theory is that the Outbreak games 1 and 2 are the next two that are to get ported. I don't know why, but I have a strong feel. I mean, I feel like why wouldn't it be the only? I mean, why wouldn't it be the next ones? What are they going to port? Survivor 1 and 2 next?
That would be amazing because But you know, it's going to take about 10 years to get those dudes ported because you remember how long.
Closer.
And you remember how long it took for Resident Evil 2 and 3 to get ported to PlayStation 4.
I mean, you're right. You're right. Maybe on its 40th anniversary, Capcom, in 10 years. We're so close.
By the time I have a wife and children, it's going to be ported to... I would still be stuck
I
on
know.
the PS.
I mean, that's the thing though. It is on Capcom's portal, and I don't know if it's been there for a long time now or not. But when they include all of their games, if you go on their portal, it includes every single mainline game, also Code Veronica, the Revelations games. It doesn't include Umbrella Corps, doesn't include the Chronicles games or the Survivor games or Dead Aim, but it does include the Outbreak games. I'm not saying, and also, Alyssa Ashcroft. I mean, Requiem. I mean, hey, what better time? I think if anything, if anyone wants more fixed camera stuff, I mean, you have more availability with the Outbreak games at the very least.
Well,
I think that'd be really cool.
my thing is, I'm very grateful, Mercy, that you didn't put Outbreak on the list because I have a confession. I've never played either or Outbreak games.
I have a confession too, and I think you already know this, but I haven't played them, so I don't know what they're like at all.
I'd say I've played damn near every mainline Resident Evil game. I think the only one I really haven't beat were like 0 maybe.
Oh yeah.
And it's not because I don't
and
like
you call
0,
yourself a Resident Evil fan? What?
I know. It's not because I hate the game. It's only because I've always put it off. But
yeah.
I'll get into that when we start talking about 0. But yeah. But I mean, yeah. So like Outbreak, I haven't played. Revelations, me personally, I consider mainline, but it's not my list. It's Mercy's, so.
It's mine only. I mean, we could talk about it a little bit. I don't mind it. I just felt like talking numbered.
Yeah, no, I get it. So I mean, I'm fine with numbered entries only, which I think would make things more or less complicated. So.
Oh yeah.
Because if we were to talk about like Revelations or Outbreak or Chronicles, and we gotta talk about Survivor or Dead Aim.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I said, we're just gonna be talking about the numbered Code Veronica and obviously Survivor with Ark Thompson, because I think that one is one of the most crucial. As you know, I'm a huge fan of that game. I did see it at a game store on PS1. I did see that. It was like $75, but I could have got it.
$75? No, not for that.
I could either get that or the deluxe edition of Resident Evil, 9, but
I'd say the best game you could get, because it is your favorite game of all time, Resident Evil Gaiden.
Oh, that is true. That is very true. I couldn't find the game. I don't have the Game Boy Color. I did play that on a really bad website and a very bad time in my life. Why was it a bad time? Because that damn music. So, the music was god awful. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt someday. I don't know. We both will.
So I know you've been playing like me and you both. I think I play my Resident Evil games in repetition. So I do more like how I do it is I play up until the boss fight, and then after I defeat the boss fight, I'll go and switch on to the next one. But I know me and you right now are both replaying Resident Evil 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's like the first one we're talking about. I don't know if we're talking about the first one and then the remake, or we're doing the first one and the second one and the third one and then the remakes or whatever.
It's kind of like I kind of wanted to talk up. We can talk about both. I mean, if you want to compare them, we can compare them. I know at first I said like, okay, maybe we don't want to do too much in comparisons. You can. I guess it's mainly just like in general. I know 3 and its remake have like. I know they all have complete differences, like, all 4 remakes, basically, especially the last 3. I don't want to say especially not the first one, but, compared to modern engine versus, where this is third person versus fixed camera angles, so, Resident Evil 2.
I'd say 3 is probably like 3 and 8 are probably the ones I have the most criticism for, because.
Yeah, it's just that with 8, like, I guess you can compare it maybe to 7.
I love those games. I love those games. I have a lot more criticisms but I don't want to I also want to try to be as vague as I can with my criticisms.
No, it's okay.
As much as my likes, because I do plan on making like bigger videos with.
And opinions change over time, so.
Yeah, and opinions change over time. Like for the longest time, 7 was like my favorite Resident Evil, and then for the longest time I hated Resident Evil around the time I met Mercy. And then I'm going back and replaying it just now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot how great this game is. So
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, with a lot of people, with their first introduction to like Resident Evil 1, they always like say the introduction to Resident Evil 1 is like through the remake because it's the most accessible. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I should say the remaster.
No.
um,
It's
um,
actually it's actually a
so
remaster.
yeah, it's actually a remaster. You know, they don't change any of the puzzles or fix everything.
It's
You know, it's
literally the
just
exact
remastered.
same game. All the same fixed camera angles. Lisa
Exact,
Trevor was actually in
exact.
the original game too, by the way.
Yeah, he was in the original game. The Crimson Heads are in the original game too. The part where you play as Rebecca in the remake, that's a part of the original game too. Stupid.
The graphics are actually
But
pretty much the same anyway, so
it's the same engine and everything.
exactly.
It's a remaster of a
I
'96
mean, it
Resident
says
Evil.
on Shinji Mikami's IMDb that it says Resident Evil twice, and that's why people get mixed up. It's really the same
Exactly.
thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
Just that the
And it says
second game is just
HD.
was a downgrade,
It says H.
unfortunately. But
It says HD remaster. So of course it's a remaster. Now,
it's
Resident
straight
Evil.
up a
Now I don't
remaster.
know why Capcom decided to skip Resident Evil 1's remake,
Well, I mean that's the thing
but
though. They skipped over a game that never existed because Resident Evil 1 came out in 2016. They started the game franchise with Resident Evil 2 in 1998, which is the exact same year as Raccoon City's Incident. Very important to notice. So
yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Resident Evil.
So, you know how like a lot of people will say like, "Oh, my first Resident Evil game was the Resident Evil remake, everything."
yeah,
So when I was getting into Resident Evil, all I knew was Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I didn't know Code Veronica or Outbreak or Revelations were a thing, or and I didn't even know there was or Zero was a thing, or there was a remake of the first game.
yeah.
So I actually played the original game way before I even touched the remake. And the only way I ever got into the remake was because of Jordan Underneath. He made a video of the remake, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know there was a remake. And then, when I was in high school, I had the remake. I bought it when I was in like middle school. I was too scared to play it, and then I got it. I played it in high school, and I absolutely loved it. And then that's when the Resident Evil remake became my favorite game of all time. Now I'll make it clear. I'll probably make it clear when I make a certain video. It's tied with the original 2005 Resident Evil 4 as my favorite game of all time because I love them as equal as
Yeah.
I don't love either or more or less. I love both those games a lot, and maybe it's because like I played them at a really bad time in my life. Maybe it's nostalgia bias. Maybe it's because I bonded with a lot of people because of those games.
Yeah.
It's also because those are games like I never have like any criticisms about. Maybe besides like Separate Ways, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, now I would like okay, and I will say though I love the original '96 Resident Evil game. That game's very special to me, and it's a and it's really because of nostalgia. Like if you were to get into Resident Evil and you're like, should I play the '96 version? I'd say play the remake before you even get into the '96. If you're doing it only for story, don't even touch the '96 version. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it because you want to like experience the games, like you love the games for the gameplay or whatever, then yeah, play the '96 version.
Mm-hmm.
Because like after you play the remake, you're gonna be like, oh, the '96 version sucks. And I know a lot of people think that way. For me personally, I don't think it sucks at all. Maybe it's nostalgia bias, but it is the same game as it always has been. It's still Resident Evil. It still popularized the whole survival horror thing, even though Alone in the Dark did it first.
Oh
It,
yeah.
you know, inspired stuff like Silent Hill and Parasite Eve, and it came from the creator of Dino Crisis, and it inspired so many horror, medias and everything. And I still think the game holds up today a little bit. Now, yeah, you have the bad voice acting and somewhat clunky controls, but at the end of the day, though, I think it's still a really fun game. It's a very accomplishing game where, like, once you beat a boss or you beat the game, it's like you feel accomplished, and you don't really feel that a lot, at least for me. I don't really feel that a lot from certain games than I do with this game. So, I feel accomplished whenever I beat it. Chris or Jill, doesn't matter. I think it's a really unique like game how it's laid out, like how it kind of popularized the entire game is just one level. You don't how like with old games, you would be like you go on this stage, you beat it, you go to the next level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it went into more of a different kind of direction. I know other games did it before it, but it went into a different direction where it was like, okay, everything is interconnected. You solve puzzles within the game to beat that one level, and that one level is the entirety of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it also did the it has it's the game that started, in my opinion, the best loading screens because the game knows how to keep you immersed in everything. So say what you will about like the original Resident Evil one, but at the same time, I still think it's a fantastic game. But yes, I do understand there's criticisms behind it, and a lot of the other games are way better than it, like obviously. So yeah, that's really my take on it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have much to say too much on like the original Resident Evil as I do obviously the remake. I
Yeah,
they're two sides of the same coin. Same with all the other remakes in some sense, right? Like I guess looking back at the
some
legacy, of Resident Evil, same settings or whatever, right? Different
yeah,
gameplay styles and obviously changes in story, but
yeah,
and the first one's much closer in both regards, but.
oh yeah,
Resident Evil 1 itself is just one of those games where I think it's probably in my top 5, maybe top 6 favorite Resident Evil games. The remake is my second favorite, so I love a lot about that. Obviously, the
yeah.
atmosphere is the most important, I think, and the music and everything. The changes are great, but I think the definitive way to play Resident Evil really is the Resident Evil 1 remake. And I
Oh
really know that, like, some people might not want it. And, outside of the joke, we make about, like, oh, they're both, like, it's the remake is actually a remaster, like, aside from that, I do genuinely want them to remake it again in third person. And the reason
yeah,
as to why is because I love the Spencer mansion so much. I know they could go to, like, other mansions, all that stuff. Like, I mean, they could change the
right.
Resident Evil 0 mansion for all I care, right? But there's a whole different way of viewing it. Like I would love that. I would love to see, run away from Lisa Trevor in third person in the caves, under the mansion
Or
again. I thought
force or
that.
force Spade in the mansion because that's a game mode in the remake. That would be awesome.
Oh, sorry, what did you say first? Sorry, I don't know what you
You,
said.
so like the once again like mode in the remake.
I don't think I do. I might not.
So you know how like when you go outside and you pick up the grenade launcher as Jill,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
and then you have to fight Forrest and he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do in the once again mode is it's the exact same game, but they make Forrest a stalker enemy, which nobody ever talks about, which I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah, but you can't even kill him. You can't kill him. Can't do anything. He chases after you. He will mess you up, as a stalker should do. You know. Um.
Yeah.
So if they do remake the
They
game
got to do
again,
that because that would be really scary. Yeah.
that would be tense. That'd be really tense. The game's already tense as it is. So
They also got to
if they,
fix Resident Evil 3 remake and make Nemesis run after
oh,
you. That would be pretty cool.
oh
All the time.
dude, I would love that. But
Yeah.
no, I agree with you. I think that um for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very 50-50 on the whole remaking that game again
Yeah. I get
thing.
that.
I think I've only seen like maybe one game really do that, and that was Medieval, because they remade it for the PSP and then they remade it for the PS4.
Yeah. Resurrection.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I'm very 50-50 on, and I was like this when Resident Evil 4 remake came out. Like, you remember, I was like, because that is my favorite game of all time too.
Hmm.
And it's like they, they're remaking my favorite game of all time, dude. It's like, are they gonna mess things up? Are they not gonna mess things up? And my thing is what I've always been like very reluctant. Maybe I'm using that word wrong. Very um like scared about if they remade that game again
Yeah.
would be the lack of art style, because as much as I love 2 and 3 and 4 remake, or any of the other games after 4, with that was the only game that really had the last game that really had the art style, unless you want to count like Chronicles or whatever,
To an extent, yeah. If you want to.
to an extent. I think that I'm very scared they're going to lose that art style. They're going to use the same Jill model, which I think is horrible.
Hmm.
And it's, and then they're gonna maybe cut things out because they want to make it a more realistic game, and and then the music is not going to be hearable at all, and it just, and then to me it's going to kind of just ruin the atmosphere of that game, because again, I love 2 remake and I love 4 remake, and I think 2 remake is better um than the original. But the reason I like the original is because I feel like they nailed the atmosphere a lot more in that game than they do in the original. Now, don't get me wrong, the atmosphere in 2 remake it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time it lacks music, and I think like if they were to remake Resident Evil 1 remake, it's going to be more of a realistic take on Resident
Well,
Evil, and I would much rather it not be that way, because
yeah.
because, and I know Capcom proved to us they can still make good remakes with Resident Evil 4. That's not gonna change my mind, because you got to realize, like, Resident Evil 4's remake was in development since 2018, and it kind of just feels like they pushed past, they did 2 because everybody wanted to, and then Capcom, from what it seems like, hates 3 because of how they promoted it back in the day. They barely ever did,
Yeah.
or how they treated it with its remake. um so I've always been very like, and again, they were working on Resident Evil 4's remake since 2018, and they kind of pushed past the whole uh story of that,
Yeah.
of 3, and they did what they did with 3, and that's why I'm very like reluctant on them remaking the first game again, because I don't want them to ruin it, but it's not in my control. If it comes out, and I've made this point so many times, I'll still play it, and I will still have fun with it, even if it turns
Yeah.
out like Resident Evil 3, where it's buggy and it's unfinished or whatever, and it's like the entire game is just in the mansion. You don't go to the backyard or to the
Hmm.
lab or whatever. Like, they just go in the mansion, explore a little bit, and they get out and it blows up. Like, I don't care if it's like that, dude. As long as it's fun,
Yeah.
you know. I'm still gonna have fun with it, but I'm still gonna have criticism with it. And my thing has always been, the reason why I'm very like critical of Resident Evil 3 remake, or a lot of people are, because Resident Evil 3 was a very special thing for people. It was a different take on Resident Evil, and I think it was a lot deeper and more depressing, and I think that's what made that game really good, at least for me.
Hmm.
So, my thing is, Capcom, if you do remake Resident Evil 1 again, and I emphasis on the again, because it's already a remake. There's already a remake. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting Capcom with that. Um, I don't think I'm gonna like it as much as I do the 2000. If it comes out, I don't think I'm gonna like it as much as the 2002 remake, because to me, it's the 2002 remake has so much more to offer than the modern remakes. I don't care if the modern remakes have better graphics or better voice acting or they're third person or whatever, and it's easier for new gens to play it. It's not the same. It's not the same as the remake. And the remake has, to me, and I'm not saying like 2 and 4 has no love put into it, because you can tell like when you play those games they have a lot of love into it, and notice how I skipped 3, because 3 doesn't have a lot of love put into it, but notice how like 2 and 4 have a lot of love in it. Like, yeah, they have a lot of love in it, but just not as much as one's remake, dude. They put so much into that remake, and it's such a perfect game to me. From gameplay to how they fix the voice, even the voice acting is pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's probably the most beautiful Resident Evil game. And that's because it doesn't
It
look
really
like
is. It's the
it
best
doesn't
looking
look
one.
outdated. Yeah, it is, and I can get, and
Super
it's
smooth.
like I'll play that. Like, to me, like when I play Zero, it kind of does look outdated, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me at least.
I feel like the
But
lighting. I feel like it has like the same type of graphics, but I think maybe I'm wrong. Relooking, I feel like the lighting is a little bit different from
yeah,
how it is in the remake of the first one.
but like, well,
But
when you look at it too, it's like,
I can't tell. I don't remember.
yeah, yeah, it is the lighting. um,
I mean, that's the
it's
thing. One
just like,
remake has like, and I feel like Zero probably can be the same thing. Like when you see
yeah,
one remake, every single fixed camera angle, especially in the HD version, it's like it's straight up portraits. Like that's what it looks like to me.
oh
And
yeah,
I love
right,
I'm not good at art, but I love art. I
oh
respect it.
yeah,
It's great.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. It's very. They put a lot of time into that game. It's the best looking Resident Evil. Yeah, even better than Resident Evil 4. Even though I don't think Resident Evil 4 looks like a bad game, it's a really good looking game.
Hmm.
Hey, yeah, I will say this, and I know you'll disagree with this. Maybe besides like Resident Evil 8, I think there's been no bad looking Resident Evil game
Hmm.
besides Survivor.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna be honest.
And
I don't even know if I've seen much of Survivor. I've definitely seen something a long time ago from it or something, but I've never like
right.
looked into Survivor's gameplay, so I have no idea what it looks like.
Well, my thing has always been like, I know a lot of people don't like pixelated graphics, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like
everybody,
pixelated graphics. That's why I love
like,
Doom so much.
like our generation's like, if it goes like 59 under 68 frames per second,
Yeah.
you're gonna freak out. The game's fucking trash. I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear, but
Okay, excuse me. 60. We need 120. No, I don't
we
know.
need 120. We need
120.
120
Are you?
frames per
No, it's gonna
second.
be like that in the future. Why is my thing 60?
Why is my game 60? I need 120 frames per second. Come on, Capcom.
Why is my game in
You're messing us
4K?
up.
1440p.
I need it in 12K.
Wait, can I
Like, oh
make
my
this point real
god.
quick? Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna explode. Sorry. No, this is going back a little bit earlier when we're talking about the atmosphere of Resident Evil 1's remake compared to like the recent remakes and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Resident Evil or Capcom, I should say, should really take notes on recent games. I mean, obviously, well, I'm talking about one recent game that is, I would say, pretty successful, despite how I feel about it. And I think
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. But
Oh god.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Oh
I would
god.
say Dead Space remake,
Oh
right?
god.
Dead Space
Oh
remake
god.
is a game that was very, and I love Dead Space remake. I'm not talking about that. Dead Space remake, okay. Obviously, I
Yeah.
would say I'm pretty sure from what I've heard, you can stop now. No,
Yeah.
from what I'm talking about, right? So Dead Space remake is a very much alike to Resident Evil 2 remake in the sense that I think they were inspired based on their remake of the original game, and I think that's what
Right.
inspired them to be like, oh, this is really cool. And I think the same goes with Alone in the Dark's remake, right, or reboot. I really
Right.
consider it a reboot over a remake, but
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 remake, You know
Well,
I'm
it already
going
has a
with
remake too, so.
this. Anyway, Silent Hill 2
Okay.
remake.
Silent Hill 2 remake.
No, Silent Hill 2 remake. Okay, despite the issues
Okay.
we might have with it and everything like that, the best thing that came from it really was that even like I wouldn't say like it emits like
Filter.
an amazing atmosphere as the original, obviously, but it keeps the
Yeah.
music in the gameplay. It keeps
Oh,
the
yeah.
music in the gameplay. Akira Yamaoka, I'm sorry I always butcher that name if I'm saying it wrong. He does an amazing job with it.
Kiriyamaoka.
Yes, he does an amazing job with it.
Yeah.
And he does. I mean, he's been doing every single mainline Silent Hill game, I think, other than Downpour. And if they did something like that with Resident Evil 1's remake, which you know, remake, I kind of doubt maybe that it would end up being like you know what am I saying? I don't think. I mean, I agree with you. They probably will not include the music, but they should. And I think they should take notes from Silent Hill 2 remake
so.
of all games, because that game does get a lot of praise and love. I don't know how much it does, but I feel like the majority, you know, do actually like it, you know, despite how I like it, and you and I.
I like the game. I like the game, but I do have my criticisms for it.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I will say for like 3 and 4 remake for the most part, you can still kind of hear like the save music in those games,
Yeah.
but you never like you don't hear like iconic tracks. And then with 2 remake, that's the same problem I have. I will give 2 remake the benefit of the doubt. It does let you select like the original soundtrack, which I wish 4 would let you do that. Unless I'm wrong, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think 2 is the
3,
only one.
you know, it's to me personally, I think music really defines a tone
Yeah,
in an atmosphere.
definitely.
You know, it's like you know
Brings
when
a
you're
lot of
playing.
nostalgia too.
Yeah, oh yeah, that too. But it's like, you know how like when you're playing, um, like Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill 1 for that matter, and you're in the part where My Heaven starts playing, and you know how that song is, and it's like it makes it creepy. And to me, I'd say Silent Hill 1 probably is the creepiest soundtrack.
Yeah.
Or you know the I can't remember her name, the nurse lady from Silent Hill 1, where that song starts playing, where she starts bleeding out of her head and everything. Like,
Yeah, it's an amazing scene. Yeah, I love that
it's an
song.
amazing scene, and it's because of the music and how it's paced, and the music kind of defines that tone and atmosphere of the silent, you know, and somewhat of the town and everything. That, you know, music is more important than people think um in horror games, right? You can't and I will agree with Mercy on this. As much as I have problems with Silent Hill 2 remake, it keeps the music, and that's one thing that it really does better than the modern Resident Evil remake. It keeps the music. When you're making a horror game and you have disturbing music for a scene, it defines that atmosphere, and it makes the tone a lot better
I can bring up
for
another game.
those. What's up?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm cutting you off, but
No, that's fine.
one of the scariest game, I would say the scariest game I've ever played, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. The music in that is one of the biggest reasons is why it scared the shit out of me when I first started playing, and I just couldn't come back to it, because when you start, and it is the setting too, and it goes hand in hand with the atmosphere, right? But the music is the atmosphere, and there's some weird humming, and I don't know how to explain it. Okay, I'm not good with explaining that stuff, but it's terrifying, and that's why Silent Hill 2, the original, is so and probably my second scariest game I've ever played. You know, it's horrifying. I don't know if I should say. Yeah. I can't really list you the scariest games I've ever played, but you know what I mean, right? Atmospherically, they're the best in my opinion.
Oh
for
yeah.
horror because of how
Right.
they do it, and a lot of that has to do with the music, you know. And
Oh
sometimes when
yeah.
there's no music at all, I still love that, you know. It depends. It really depends.
Yeah.
Dead Space might scare someone really hard because, you know, when a necromorph jumps at you, they have this freaking you know like playing really loud. Or FNAF, you know, has like jump scares at you all the time, which might scare you, you know.
To me,
It depends, but
something that's like always been like somewhat like unnerving,
mhm.
and I don't know why, because it's really not that scary, but the whole like SCP containment breach game
Yeah.
is very like they nail the fucking atmosphere in that game, and to me it's not really a scary game, but it's like um it's a very it's very unnerving, if that
What game
makes
is
sense.
this
And
exactly? I'm just being curious.
uh SCP containment breach. The
Is it like I've never played an
it's
SCP game, so I don't know anything about
it's
them.
like it's the one where you're getting chased by
What
the next snapping doll guy.
I don't know what that is.
I
Hold
don't
on.
fuck I don't know anything about
I'm just
SCP.
wondering because maybe I'll play it sometime. I don't know.
I don't know anything. It's like the most popular SCP game.
I'll find it sometime. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about
No,
SCP.
it's
So
okay.
I'd say like Resident Evil 1 really nails the music, and a lot of the music does. It's pretty unnerving for the
Yeah.
most part. The game is like when I'm playing like 2 or 3 or 4, and
Mhm.
to an extent the original 4, or any kind of Resident Evil game. I I don't know if you feel the same way, Mercy, but when I play Resident Evil 1 remake, it's very emphasized on the loneliness. It's a
Yeah.
very lonely feeling game.
Oh yeah.
Like very, very, very lonely feeling game. And seven, which people say is the scariest Resident Evil,
Hmm.
it it doesn't, and I think I emphasize it. Maybe I'm emphasizing the loneliness of Resident Evil 1 remake, because I played it during a time where I was very lonely with stuff, and it was part of a depression and all that. I'm not gonna get into that,
I
but
think you're making a
I
video on
don't.
this as well, right?
I
I
am.
saw one of your
Um,
titles. Yeah.
but like, I don't know, dude. It's a very like every Resident Evil game I've played. I played almost every Resident Evil game,
Yeah.
and none of them but this one, which Resident Evil's always made it about where you have to be lonely in order to scare you.
Hmm.
None of them have ever been able to achieve it besides this one, for me at least.
I think what you take is like a very unique stance of it because I've never heard that before, and I know when I was reading your
Right.
titles and everything like that, I never really thought about it that way, and I think that's very
Yeah.
important too because, you know, we compare that to the original, which doesn't feel,
Yeah.
you know, as lonely even close either. Because you know, I look back
Yeah.
at it and it's like, yeah, you know, there is a feeling of, you know, the remake of the first remake that
Yeah.
emits that, and it really is one of those games where no matter when you play it, like daylight,
Yeah.
nighttime, whatever,
It's kind of creepy. It's
yeah,
very
it's
lonely.
yeah, just mute the game and it's still the same. You know, not the
It's
same,
still,
but you know
yeah.
what I mean, right? Like it's pretty lonely
Yeah.
how it
You
is.
could mute it, play it in the daytime, play it at night, play it with your friends,
Yeah.
and you could like for me personally, I like to watch YouTube videos when I play video games. Um, I even if I'm watching a YouTube video, even if I have my family surrounded with me, or if I have my girlfriend around or whatever,
Hmm.
it still feels lonely, and that's something I'm why I'm so hesitant on the whole Resident Evil 1 remake.
Yeah.
And again, not to mention, I would rather them not cut things. I know Resident Evil 4 didn't really cut things because they added it to separate ways, and I think separate ways in the 4 remake is a lot better than the original. But
Oh yeah.
I would rather them not cut things. I don't want the spiders cut, or the hunters, or the zombies, or the chimera, the tyrant, Plant 42, Yawn, Black Tiger. Don't cut any of that.
Mm.
And I know you made a point. I'm putting this in. I'm putting this in a video I'm working on. We discussed it. Don't you think Black Tiger's boss fight would be scarier in the third person if she appeared in the game of the remake if they ever make that?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think, like, because a lot of people fear arachnophobia, and because Resident Evil's trying to go for a more scary and realistic kind of take, why not have the giant spiders?
It would be horrifying, and I don't know. I don't know if you were
Horrifying.
leading this back to me. Or I don't remember. I don't remember if you meant that or not. But like, I
Well,
meant
because you
I do think
because we
think about that room where the spider is going, down. And I know that's terrifying enough. Like when you play in the remake, like when it goes, what is it? That one house you're in, that one place. It's
the outhouse.
Yeah, yeah, and you just see that. Yeah, you just see something like that, and we don't get
that-
those spiders, and we don't get those spiders.
don't.
We had the drain dimos, but those aren't really spiders like the ones that freak me out the most. Like these are either like
Yeah.
really fat, big spiders, or just like if I am very scared of like big black spiders that are on the wall that are just like it terrifies me. It scares me.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. And I can't imagine a big one like that in like the RPD or the mansion or but we didn't get that in the remakes and like the recent remakes. But and there's also the Lost Plagueis and everything. They have those little like creatures, but it's still it's not the same as seeing these things crawl on the wall. And just going down, it notices you, it sees you, this big thing, and it crawls downward. It's just going out. It's just going towards you. So yeah, the black spider is probably like, black tiger is a great example of like it's just like
It's especially in like third person, get chased by one of those things.
Yeah.
No.
In an isolated room full of webs. It's like dang. Oh man.
And I think in the Chris version, 2 other spiders drop down to mess with you too.
Oh god, it's
Oh my god, dude.
yeah. You break that, you kill it, and all these spiders go everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think you made the point. If it wasn't gonna be in the 2 and 3 remake, and if they remake the first game again, they have to put in the mansion.
One. Yeah, it's got to be.
It's got to be in the one. That's where they all started.
It has to be the scariest remake of all time. They got to spend their time with this stuff. They have the Crimson Head. They have the obviously spiders and stuff. They have. Well, I don't know. They know the sharks. I don't know if that's the scariest, but there's. I'd say the music for Neptune's Tank is really creepy. Oh yeah, and there's also sorry.
Or that, I'd say okay. So like. Neptune's Tank has always been like a weird. I think I told you this story before, but I'm gonna tell it to everybody else. So like when I first played that game, or no, I think I was on like a second playthrough or whatever, and I was still in high school at the time. I was like just getting into the band Korn.
Yeah.
And I was in the Neptune's Tank area. And the song Daddy by Korn came on. Now, if you listen to Korn or you want to go listen to Daddy, or if you've heard about the story behind that, I'm not going to explain it in this video.
Yeah.
You would know how disturbing that song is. But like I was listening to that while playing the game, and it's just, I don't know, dude. It's like, if I was doing that with any other game, it just doesn't, like, it's going to be whatever. But this one, I don't know, dude. This way made it really weird for me, and I think that's what really makes this game so good to me. It's very weird. It's not like any other Resident Evil game to me.
Yeah.
is what's fascinated. Like I know, like I'll say Resident Evil 8 doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't. As much as I love it, this one like feels the most Resident Evil to the point where it feels like everything else isn't Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's my favorite.
Well, when you
But
think about
at the
Resident
same,
Evil, isn't this like the first one that comes to mind? You know?
to me, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is
To
this is
me, yeah.
exactly what I see when I think about like you just say
This
Resident
this
Evil, unless you say there's
this
something after it. You know?
yeah. Like
Obviously, but you know.
If I'm thinking Resident Evil 1, I'm thinking of the remake. If I'm thinking Resident Evil 4, I'm thinking of the original, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fair. I mean that's the thing. I mean, we've been talking about this one for a long time now, but I do think it is the most important one to to think about, I guess, because
I would
if they screw up the remake of this, you know, and they cut so much of it or change so much of it, alter it in a bad way, which I mean,
yeah.
honestly, I don't see. Like, I mean, you know, we can say, you know, oh, you know, maybe we don't need a remake, maybe we do need a remake. It's more of like, I mean, the why. Why would you change this? Because it was so
Yeah.
good in the original, unless you want to subvert expectations. But I'm not trying to say they don't do a good job with it in like recent stuff. But there's a
I
lot of
would
things where I
say
just don't think they just need to do it. I don't think they do on some stuff.
I would
But
say
I don't know.
maybe the only criticism I have of the game
Mm-hmm.
is like no mercenaries mode because
Oh yeah.
I think that you know it's because three are introduced mercenaries. I think Code Veronica has it.
They have like
Um,
a weird mode, I think, in Code Veronica.
they
It's
have a
kind of like
different mode.
mercenaries. Yeah, it's kind of
They have a
like
different mode,
it's really
and
weird first
then
person.
the DS version kind of has a mercenaries mode in a way
uh,
of the Resident Evil One port or the original Resident Evil. So it's like
Talking about Deadly
this game.
Silence.
Yeah, and it's
Oh
like, well,
yeah.
it's this game's it's the first remake, and I think that you know, for me, I think it would make sense if there's a mercenaries mode. You can have, Chris, Jill, Barry, Rebecca, Wesker, Enrico. You could. There's so many possibilities, and it's a remake, so it'd make it even better than like Deadly Silence or something. I'm not saying Deadly Silence is bad. I'm just saying like it would make it way better than Deadly
I could
Silence.
just imagine
You
that
know?
one area with the, you know, where the stairwell is. I mean, like not. I mean, like
Mhm.
you know how there's like that locked door with like the padlock you have to, you know, that you can't open or whatever for a while. There's just, but like you can go
Yeah,
downstairs, upstairs. If those two areas, um, I don't know if you know what I'm talking, which play I'm talking. You know, it's like in the
I
upstairs
do.
area. Yeah. So then you go
Yeah.
downstairs or upstairs. I feel like those two areas would be like a really good place of just like, I don't know,
Oh yeah.
you know, just one. That's what I'm imagining right now in type of like in a defense
Yeah.
mode, right? Not like Call of Duty
Yeah.
Zombies or anything like that, but kind of like, you know,
No,
they're trying to get in. You know, I don't know.
they do rip off COD Zombies a bit in like
Hmm.
Resident Evil 6.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, the gun shop spot in or that part in Resident Evil 6 in Leon's campaign.
maybe. I have
That's
something in
that's
my head, but I have no idea if I'm thinking the right thing.
that's literally something you would do in like Call of Duty Zombies.
Hmm.
Um and another thing like this is like maybe like my only other criticism is like I hate how you can't play hard mode or very hard mode normally. You have to do it with the force Speyer stalker enemy
Yeah.
chasing after you, which is fine if I want to do it like that, but I think I should have the right to play the game, normally without any of that, if that makes sense, with the
Hmm.
costumes that I earned and everything, the guns that I get or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's just those are just like two personal things, but
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not like I you know. I'm just gonna say like you know the Resident that you specifically know that game way more than I do. You know, because
oh yeah,
I've played it. I've replayed it. I don't know how many times I've played it, but I have a list somewhere. I have no idea. But
yeah,
like it's been a while, and I'd love to. I know I'm replaying some of the games, but I don't really know if I'm gonna actually finish any of them anytime soon. Like going through them. But I played them. I played all the ones that we're gonna talk about today. You know, anyway
yeah.
before. But other than Survivor, but that's just something to mention. But you know what I mean, right? Like, the ones we're
That's
specifically pointing to. But I don't know. Resident Evil 1 or the remake, is such a key. Obviously, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the story, I'd say. Outside of, I wouldn't count really Zero. That's more of just a prequel. But it's the beginning of the tale that brought us to here, where all these, 2 also brings in some badasses, but you know what I mean, right? Like they're all crazy badasses now, but
Resident Evil 1 was like the beginning.
it was the beginning, and it was I'd say it's such a good one, because even if the remake didn't exist, which thank God the remake exists, but the first one itself, like the reason why I love the first one so much is because it's probably because of the mansion. I do like the gameplay a lot more in the first one than I do in the second, third one, or Code Veronica. I can't help it. It's more simple.
I think the gameplay, especially in one remake, I know we've been talking about one remake for so long right now.
It's such a good game.
But
yeah.
My thing has been like, it's because okay, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'd say Resident Evil 1 and its remake are probably the only real survival horror games of Resident Evil.
I actually agree. to a certain extent.
Because 2 and 3, I love those games. I love them to death, especially 3. And I will talk about 3 and its remake, and I know it's going to span the runtime of this video when I talk about 3 and 4 and all that. But they were more actiony, and I don't have a problem with that because the games are still fun. But at the same time, the games are just very easy, and it's not so emphasized on the survival horror. Now, am I gonna sit there and say there's no survival horror elements? Oh, there's survival horror elements. There, you can still run out of ammo. You can still mess up. You still have to use ink ribbons. You still have to, and you still have to strategize how you kill a boss. You still have to run past. It still has its survival horror elements, as I think every Resident Evil game does, even 6 to an extent. But it's not true survival horror. Resident Evil 1 was true survival horror. You didn't get pouches. You didn't get quick time events. You didn't get a bunch of ammo. You had like maybe 3 or 4 guns to your disposal. 5 if you count the rocket launcher. 6 if you count the flamethrower.
Yeah.
And you didn't get weapon attachments or anything. So I'd say, and it's probably got the most unique setting in a video game, because it's like, and I'm talking both original and remake, because name every like zombie media has like zombies in the mansion. You have zombies in the city. You have zombies in foreign countries. You have zombies on
my house.
Ships.
Yeah.
You have zombies at your house. Exactly. Zombies in a police station. And I'm not saying like 5 and 6 and 4 and Revelations are like about zombies or whatever. But like name like something, like name an infection that wasn't in those areas. Or even in a prison or on an island like Revelations or Death Island, like name any other like spooky ghost mansion that has zombies and monsters, because nothing has ever had that besides Resident Evil, unless it's Alone in the Dark, but they didn't have zombies. So
yeah, I mean I don't know, the thing with Resident Evil is like, I would consider like all these other games still technically, or most of them, or not, maybe not most. I don't know, a certain amount of Resident Evil games to be like survival horror, but nothing comes truer than I feel like the original and its remake. I mean, if you play the other Resident Evil games in like harder modes, like the hardest mode, I would say for sure. But like if we're talking about normal modes, then
especially the 3 remake. Oh my god!
And that's the thing though. Like when it comes, you want to play on fucking what was it? What was it called? It starts with an I, doesn't it? I mean, you'd have to
You know?
beat one mode. Yeah, I think you have to beat one mode to get the next one to get. But anyway, but like there's a game that I really want to like actually get, and I do have it on PlayStation 5 actually. Like I have the disc and cover. It was my first PlayStation 5 game that I had. Played a little bit of it, and I didn't play too much of it. But from what I've played, from what I remember at least, from what I've seen, and they have a sequel. The sequel just came out last year. I don't know if they're making another one, but Tormented Souls. From what I saw and what I played, it is, and I think I talked to you a little bit about this before. Maybe I'm not sure.
I've never played it. I've never played it.
It looks a lot like Resident Evil 1 remake. It really does. Like
Really?
the way the graphics look and everything. And I think I would say it's probably going to be one of the harder ones because I could only pick up I think it was like a disc tape or something that was like comparable to ink ribbons in Resident Evil, and you only got one. And I kept going and I went kind of far and then I died. And maybe I just suck. I don't know. But I think it's one of those games where it's like I think that's
Right.
the next true survival thing that I really want to check out. Fingers crossed I will soon. But it looks so cool to me. Like it looks like Resident Evil 1 remake. Like the design, like the color grading and everything.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
I feel like I know Alone in the Dark was before Resident Evil,
Yeah.
and it technically the first survival horror game. I feel like true survival horror lies in Resident Evil 1 and its remake. I don't think, like, I'm not saying like all these other games aren't survival horror. They're clearly survival horror, but I don't think they're true. Like even Silent Hill, I don't think Silent Hill is really much of a true survival horror game because Silent Hill's easy. Silent Hills are too easy, and it's more story focused, especially since it's from Konami. So, you have Silent Hill, you have Dead Space, which it's survival horror, but it's more action survival. Evil Within, I guess.
I still
Dino
suck at all these
Crisis,
games.
maybe. and I'm not saying they're not survival horror.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the truest survival horror, the most at-home survival horror game
I feel like
is what limits you, and that is what you get in Resident Evil and its remake.
Because I feel like look, I still suck at a lot of these games, right? I do. Like even Silent Hill 2, I was doing terrible with Silent Hill F. I think it was because I was doing the wrong thing all the time. I kept using the strongest form of attack. But when it comes down to like I feel like you need. I mean, you don't have to all the time with like. What am I saying? One can feel like it gives you a lot sometimes, but you really have to rely on your ammo.
You have to rely on what you have.
Yeah, rely on the ammo, your health, and everything. And I know you can say about this with a lot of other games as well, but you push down that on the player, like you need to give the player some anxiety. You want to stress them out. You want to give them a seizure. I'm kidding. No, no, or heart attack. No.
Well, especially when how the game treats you, because it doesn't pull its punches. It will mess you up, and I'm saying it will mess you the hell up, dude. And it's only if you do not play your cards right. You have to know when to pace. The game is very about pacing and being aware of your surroundings and everything. Even if you replay it for the 1,000th time, you are still gonna mess up because you didn't pace something right.
And your inventory.
And that's what.
Very important.
And your inventory.
And you don't want to die because go back to the ink ribbon.
Because like that's why I think it's the best remake, and I could go into so much more detail about it. Maybe I'll make a video about it. It has nothing to do with the retrospective, why it's the best remake or whatever. And a lot of it has to do with because it's very unpredictable. Even if you know everything, it's still very unpredictable. Kind of like how when you replay Silent Hill 2 or Resident Evil 4 or Fallout New Vegas, You can know everything about it, and you still don't know everything about it. You can 100% those games, and you get all the achievements, and there's still stuff you don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's a very like very it's a very unpredictable games. Those are the games I love, and unfortunately, I think that and it's not as linear either. You can play in any order as opposed to the modern remakes. Well, I'm not saying 2 is like super linear, 3 because you can still explore. You can still explore. Don't get me wrong, but like how in the original 2, and I guess we're gonna probably just transition to Resident Evil
Yeah.
2 at this point.
Resident Evil 2.
Okay, so how in Resident Evil 2, like you have two, or I guess in like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, you have a lot more free reign to explore.
Yeah.
So but what I'm getting at is, how in like Resident Evil 2, you could go into the east or west side, and it didn't matter how you did it, you just did it, and whatever.
It's not linear.
Yeah, it's not linear. Now in like 2 remake, and I'm not putting 2 remake down, it's still a phenomenal game. But in 2 remake, you can't go into that other side besides the beginning, and then once you get the bolt cutters, and then you get the freaking fuse, and it's like, well, why can't I? Why is it a lot more linear in this case?
Yeah.
Opposed to the original, where it's like it didn't matter which way you went, just don't die. Because like one side, especially how they did it too, one side had a room full of zombies, and the other side had a freaking liquor in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then like how you get to the police station, it's like it's already a mess getting to the police station, like trying to survive it. it's like yeah, it's I think it's been like maybe like one of the criticisms I have of 2 remake, but I'd say, okay, how do you? I know we've discussed this before. How do you feel about like 2 and its remake? Like, I feel like how would you like feel like what are your like opinions on it and everything, or how do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Resident Evil 2, we've discussed a little bit of this before. I really like Resident Evil 2 a lot, but it is my least favorite of the trilogy, and it is probably lesser to me compared to even Code Veronica. That does not mean I don't like it, but there's something about the original and the remake, for whatever reason, that like, and I don't think it's really like the RPG. I really don't know what it is. So I can explain from like, I can explain through all of them basically, right? Resident Evil 1 has like the mansion, which is amazing, the best setting in the series. Resident Evil 3 has, I'd say, mostly the city, which is mostly desolated, and I love the dark feeling of it and everything like that, right? And I think Resident Evil 2 has the RPD. There's several other locations too, just like the other 2, right? And Code Veronica is I kind of like half
more more gothic.
Yeah, I mean, there's separate. I feel like Code Veronica is the most diverse throughout the most of the game, but there's Antarctica. I love Antarctica, and which again, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. If they remake Code Veronica, I think the most excited thing I'd be for is Antarctica. We can get into that later. But Resident Evil 2, when it comes down to it, for some reason, I don't know what it really is. I think it's more like if you, I think the change in gameplay and everything like that,
right?
Like, to me, it doesn't fit. I'm talking about the original more of. It doesn't fit as well as using that same gameplay in 3.
Right.
I think 3, it's more necessary, especially with Nemesis and what is more. I don't want to say thrown at you, because they throw a lot at you still in 2, but there's just I don't know what it is. It's just something about 2. But I still like the game. It's just I don't like it compared to the other 2 games.
Would you say it's like, well, I think I made this point before. Would you say it's like more because like it's kind of weird where it's like it kind of feels like more of like a side quest or side story in opposed to like how one was about Chris and Jill and then three was about Jill and it wraps up the story with that.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like two is more about Chris and Claire, and yeah, Claire's related to Chris, not Chris,
Yeah,
Leon and Claire.
kind of like a secondary story.
Yeah, and it's like, is that like the reason why,
No,
or
no,
is it like
I don't really
does it
think
feel
so
like
because
is it is
I
it
mean it
like more
started.
like does it feel like more disconnected or
No, I don't really see it that way. I mean, I'd say most of the Resident Evil games are pretty much their own stories outside of the main. I mean, I always consider it like kind of like the main. I know the first one's not really located so much in Raccoon City's like Outbreak, like the crazy stuff,
yeah
compared to 2, 3,
yeah
the Outbreak games, and Code Veronica is the same situation where it's pretty much after the events,
yeah
same year. Um,
yeah
but I mean, I don't really see it. I don't see it that way, really. I think I, I mean, there's. I mean, I really don't know. I've never really cared as much for the story of two compared to 1 and 3 because the first one is so much in. I mean, more than just the atmosphere of thing. It's on what is
yeah
it, Bravo team or something like that, right? Or Alpha team? What I don't know what
yeah.
they're called.
Bravo team goes
Yeah,
missing, and Alpha team has
yeah,
to
yeah.
look
It's
for
it's
them.
more
And
mysterious, and you don't know where you're going
yeah,
into. And I know the same can be kind of with two. Two kind of throws you in the action, but three kind of is in the same sense, but it's in a more interesting way to me. Because someone's going straight after you.
yeah,
And I feel like Code Veronica could probably be compared to two in a way as
yeah.
well. Because they both throw you. I mean, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I don't know what it is.
Well,
I don't. It doesn't appeal to me compared
I
to
mean,
the other three games.
I feel like two story is a lot more. It's a lot more straightforward, I guess, where
Mm-hmm.
it's because you have the mystery of the first game, but then you go to two and it's kind of just telling you everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the story's bad in any sense,
But it's
but
out in the city,
it,
kind of.
yeah, it's out, but it's just telling you everything. It's like you like you kind of just like Sherry tells you, oh Birkin, the monster, that's my dad,
Yeah.
or it's kind of and I know they go for more of a cheesy B movie plot with those games,
Yeah.
but it's not as mysterious. Rather, it's more straightforward, and I get what they were going through, but it was just straightforward. You ever okay? So like, I'm gonna do a weird comparison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 2 is a lot like Evil Dead 2 in a way.
Yeah.
Phenomenal sequels. They improve a lot more on certain things, but there's something about it that just doesn't like it's something about it. There's one thing that's not as good as the original.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first Evil Dead had so much more mystery, was bloodier, was more survival focused, and then the second one was more comedy and actiony and not as mysterious, which it's still a great movie. But the
Mm-hmm.
original has like more of that, So I get what you're saying, like with like Resident Evil 2. Um, it's it's still I think it's still a phenomenal game, but I do agree it's very open and very straightforward with that game. And I don't know how you feel about this, but the game just feels way too easy.
Mm-hmm. You mean the second one,
Both
right? Just the
yeah.
original? Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really
I
remember my
don't
experience fully with it. I feel like it's
yeah.
hard at first, though.
Like when you're like trying to get to a police station, yeah, but after that you're chilling.
Yeah. I mean, again, I really had. I mean, I'm not trying to say like I haven't played it in a long time or anything. I recently
Yeah.
replayed Resident Evil 1. I haven't recently replayed 2 or 3. So,
Yeah.
not that I don't remember all of my experiences with either of those games or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I
No, I
really
get
have to
it.
think about it.
I don't know, dude. I'd say two is, and I feel the same way about the remake. I don't
Hmm.
really think I've like ever felt tense with either game. like, I mean, maybe here or there, like in certain spots, but like a lot of the time, like if I'm playing 1 or its remake, it feels a lot more tense. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like 2 is just more open, I guess. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
the remake of 2 does fix that and makes things a lot tighter, but it just feels too open. Like it's very easy to avoid zombies, and you're. Oh, I'm not gonna say it's not a survival horror game, but it's a lot more action focused,
Yeah.
and I think the story is just not as mysterious. The voice acting, again, just like the original, it's better, but it's not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And and then you go into the remake, right? Improves on vastly everything from the or most of the stuff from the original 2,
Yeah.
except for the fact that story still isn't as mysterious, and it's still pretty easy to avoid. Now, I'm not saying it's completely easy as it was in the original, but you can still avoid zombies. You can still pick up a crap ton of ammo, and I think that them cutting monsters is a poor choice, even if like the moths, they serve no purpose. I feel like,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna be honest, the bosses in Resident Evil 2, the original, kind of fun. They kind of suck. At least if you have the first game where it's like, okay, these guys are actually pretty challenging, and then the second game they just dumb it down because you have so much ammo
Mm-hmm.
and you can pick up so many healing items. They don't really have much challenge to them, to me, for me at least.
Yeah.
And so my thing has always been, you know, I think the bosses in 2 remake are. I okay. Before I get into that, what I'm trying to say is they could have taken some of those enemies and made them better, if that makes sense. Because you know how in like the original Resident Evil 1, you could kill zombies, waste crap ton of ammo, and you should be fine. It was starting to get easy.
Yeah.
And then they added the Crimson Heads, that whole mechanic. And it's like, oh, I gotta chill out with my pistol ammo. I gotta actually avoid the enemies. I gotta, not waste my thing.
Use the fire. Yeah.
Yeah, and it made you think a lot more. And I think that, I mean, I'm not saying 2 doesn't make you do that. You do have to think about where you have to go and how you're gonna deal with certain zombies or enemies. I think that I think it would have been a lot better if they didn't cut like the evolved lickers or the spiders or the moths, because I feel like they could have improved on those a lot more
Mm-hmm.
instead of cutting them out. I mean, I think that like the evolved lickers would look kind of creepy
Yeah.
um in the remake. And giant moths, people hate bugs. I think Under the Mayo made this point. I know I talked to you about it already. I think they could have used the plant creature as a boss, because the flamethrower was kind of useless in that game.
Yeah.
So I think that they could have had a plant creature be a boss in the game, and I'm saying, and I'm gonna say this right now. I'd say, for me personally, at least, I think Resident Evil 2 remake probably has the best boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my opinion. And I'm not saying one remake has bad boss fights, because it doesn't. But I have always enjoyed the gameplay of 2. So what makes the bosses in 2 so great? You have to pace your shots a lot more, and you're limited on ammo, and they have weak spots in order to take them down. I'd say my favorite boss fight in the entire Resident Evil franchise is probably Birkin Form 3 from the 2 remake. It's every time I get to that boss fight, I'm so excited and I play it. It's challenging, it's fair. You have to make decisions when you play it. It's a really fun boss fight for me, and I think that having more variety of boss fights in that game would have made it if they didn't cut anything and they fixed everything and they added the stuff they were going to keep in the game, I would say I would probably maybe have this more in the top 5 for Resident Evil games for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the top 10, but it's more top. But it could have boosted it top 5, and I would have liked it way more than the original. Um, and even though this game is better than the original, one, nostalgia bias for the original. That's why I love it so much. And two, I just feel like the original just had a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you got the DLC Survivor, the Ghost Survivors, and they do add more things and they do improve on things. But the original 2 had more.
I think one of my biggest issues with the remake, obviously, are the cut content and everything like that. But one of the things that, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably, I mean, I do think, unironically, like they're go hand in hand. Like when I rank stuff with you on Resident Evil and stuff, when
Yeah.
it comes down to Resident Evil 2 and its remake, they're like right by each other pretty much. So I can't,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't. For me, it's hard to put one over the other. I
Yeah.
know it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, Resident Evil 1 remake definitely better than the original, but Resident Evil 2 is probably one of the closer ones too, where it's like,
Yeah.
I might like the remake more, but I also might not, I don't really have a lot
Yeah.
to say in that because like I like them both a lot, but
Yeah.
they're both very, very close. I think I also want to mention one of my biggest issues, I think, and it's not really like a huge gripe or anything like that, is I don't really like how the laboratory was in the remake. I don't like how the way it looks and everything. I always thought it looked kind of generic compared to the original. I like the way the design was in the original game where I don't really know how to explain it. If you see images online, obviously, like with I'm sure it's called laboratory.
Yeah.
There's a specific look to the main area that I really, really like, and it is pretty similar, like to like one of those labs, but like I don't know, I never really liked the. Maybe it's because it's the imagery. I don't know.
Maybe I will be honest.
Yeah.
I do like the laboratory a lot more in the remake.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I'm not saying the laboratory is bad in the original 2, but I don't know, dude. Like exploring the laboratory. I don't know how you like. Okay, in the original 2, you explore the RPD.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I love exploring the RPD. The sewers, not really. Which I think they improved way more in the remake. I love the sewers in the remake.
Mm-hmm. Oh
and
yeah,
the
definitely.
laboratory,
I agree with that.
and the laboratory in the remake of 2, it just I found to be more fun to explore and backtrack, and
I think it is better
100%
backtrack. Yeah.
it's a lot. I think it's a lot better. The you know I will say exploring in this game is a lot, even if I have my criticisms of 2 remake and the cut content and the lack of art style and how Leon acts in the game or how Chief Irons is or whatever, I still love this game. I remember, dude, being a kid. Okay, I don't know how you felt when 2 remake got announced, dude. I remember when 2 remake got announced, and then they had the one-shot demo. Oh my god! Oh my god, dude! I wanted that game the entire year. I wanted that and Devil May Cry 5, but I wanted this game, dude. I was like, oh my god! I want Resident Evil 2 remake. I want to play that game. That game was like unreal because I remember wanting a 2 remake like when I was younger. I know they did 1 remake and I was too scared to play that for the longest time. And then they did 2 remake and it was like, oh my god, dude. And then you play it and the hype is like so worth it. It was just like, I was so happy that I got it for Christmas because I got to play, and I think I've mentioned this story before. I was too scared to play the fixed camera angles games, and it wasn't because like I was a scaredy cat and those games are scary. It was because they were just like it was a different kind of way to play a game, right? I was so used to like third person or first person, or like the or like over the top, or like top down kind of ways, or like how kind of like how the camera angle is in like Code Veronica or whatever, where it moves all over the place.
Yeah.
I was more used to that. I never I was never used to the fixed camera angle games, and I didn't know. And now playing them, obviously, I love them and I can play them the entire time. It was this game was different. It was to me at least, and it was like I could experience the game that I was too scared to play back then. I can experience now as a remake. Now, is it the same experience? No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
But it did a good job at being a remake. It deserves to be called a remake. I think so. Take out the changes. Okay, take out like the changes and more the linearity and how some of the characters act. You take that out of your brain, those three things out of your brain, and it serves to be. And it's a great remake. It's amazing, phenomenal. And then to me, at least, it's a masterpiece. And for the longest time, I went through a phase where I was like, "It's not a good remake. It's not a good remake. It's a good game, but it's not a good remake." And replaying it, um, recently, it just made me just. It just made me like love this game so much more as the first time I played it. Now, I don't know about you, but when you play a game for the first time and it's a masterpiece, and then you go back, it doesn't have the same magic as the first playthrough. You
Oh
know,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
I will say like two remake and one remake, I always get the magic. I always got that magic to when I first replayed it, and the same goes for like the original Resident Evil 2. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see why maybe they made two remake the way it was, because they did it. Because if you look at one, you play one remake, there's no point in playing the original. Because as much as I love the original Resident Evil 1, half the time I don't really want to play it. It's kind of like the first Super Mario game. It's like I'm not gonna play it. I'd probably play it like if I was like super bored. And it's not because I hate the game. It's just there's a remake. I'd rather play that. Maybe Capcom was kind of seeing how it was and was like, oh, maybe we want people to experience the original too, and I can replay two the original, and then I can replay two in the remake. The games, they're pretty similar in ways and pretty different in ways, and they're both to me masterpieces. Even if I have criticisms towards them, you know,
Yeah.
like this wasn't these weren't the games that introduced me to Leon, but they made me love Leon a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the game that introduced me to Claire. It's or like playing it when I was in school. I played it, and it's like it was so magical to see how everything looked before the remake came out. And I still go back and I play it, and there's still magic to it for me. And I just love it, dude. Both games are really good, and I love both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
agree.
and maybe I will say I love both of them equally, because both do great things and both do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. For me, I can't choose between what I love more. Now I know I already said I love the original more, but I don't know. Now that I'm talking about it, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say though, Resident Evil 2 remake is one of the scariest, has one of the scariest moments in the entire franchise, and I think it has to do with I can't every single time. Every single time it freaks me out when you're going into
Right.
that room, the upstairs section, through the
Yeah.
freaking hallway. You know what I'm talking about. You see the liquor going past
Yeah.
the window and everything like that, or whatever.
Oh,
That area when you're walking into that door and there's a zombie hanging from the ceiling, and it's
Oh
coming
my
down.
God,
You do the C4. You go in there right when you leave. I never, ever, ever see the liquor because I run straight past it and I hear it. And then I see kind of a glimpse behind me. It freaks me out so much. It scares me. Like, it is the scariest part. It's so scary.
That game is still tense.
It is really, really stressful, man.
It
I mean, like,
still has that, still a tense game.
it very much is, and I feel like I know like we go back and forth on like certain things
It's
for
not
like
it's not as tense as the original, but it's still a tense game.
I mean, I'd say it's well, I don't know. I mean, I'd really have to think about that. But I do think the remake is like really, really scary. I really do.
I remember it freaking me out when I first played it, but it's still a great game. It's still like top 10 Resident Evil games.
Oh yeah.
And I think it does a great job as a remake. Now, obviously, it's not as good as the original, the first Resident Evil remake.
Oh yeah. I mean, I agree with that too.
I don't think it's, but I do think it deserves to be called a remake.
I mean, I don't know how I'd really. I was also thinking about this too. You know, 2
Right.
remake obviously relies a lot on your flashlight. You know.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that in the Spencer Mansion the majority of the time if it was just a flashlight? You know. It's not all flashlight in the second remake, obviously, but you know, I feel like one remake is very, very dim. You know, and that's kind of the vibe it gives off.
Dim.
I think we need a flashlight,
dim.
but not too much.
I think the flashlight would work in the caves or the tunnels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be scary.
Because like the mansion, like, you know, even though it's a creepy old mansion, I don't think it'd work like that.
Yeah.
And it'd be too serious at that point. You know, and especially like the police station, like, that's light for the most part, and then you have all these dark areas, like, and then there's light areas, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually,
maybe in like certain sections, I'd say like, yeah, it makes sense for the flashlight, but I don't know, dude. Like in the mansion, like, not really.
you know what is really scary though with 2 remake is they're not spiders,
What's up?
but something running past the wall, a liquor. You know, they're not spiders exactly, but that's what it's not like the exact same way I see it, but like it's like oh, I walk into a room in Resident Evil 1, right? And yeah, these are big spiders, so it's a little bit different, but it would be nice to have little spiders too that are pretty big, but not fat spiders, you know, so they can run a clock. So you walk into a door, you turn your light on. Or you have your flashlight, you know. I don't know I don't really know the situation would be like. Oh, it starts to turn off, so I gotta turn it back on. It turns on. You see at the wall, there's just some black spider just crawling across, and like it's somewhere else now. You don't know where it is. Like, isn't that just scary? It's just completely dark, you know. And you had the flashlight, you know. You gotta do something with it.
I really love too in 2 remake is, even though you have full control of like where you can shoot and you can move and all that, you still have to pace your shots. You still have to know when to shoot, when not to shoot. You still can waste ammo and miss every shot. I have gameplay of me. It's probably embarrassing, which I think I was going to send Mercy.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's embarrassing. I am just like missing every shot, trying not to get bit by the zombie, and I'm like, come on, dude, how am I missing every shot? So, you know, it's very
Not my gameplay. Just kidding.
He's gonna put that. He's gonna be like, not my gameplay. So,
Specifically for this section is
because I was gathering gameplay footage for like remake tier list, or not tier list, but remake ranking, which I don't know when that video is gonna come out. But like, I'm not even like finished with the Resident Evil 3 section of that part, and I'd have like 3 more remakes to talk about. and
well,
edit.
well, maybe I should make like, maybe I should record the worst gameplay possible. Like the worst gameplay. Like I'm like completely going off the rocket and saying thanks to Mc0nel. It's like I'm just gonna lie about it. I'm just gonna say he did that gameplay, not me. I'm just gonna like do the worst possible.
So
He sent this to me. Thanks for the gameplay. I won't even do it for this video. I'll do it for a future. Well, that wouldn't even make any sense. What the hell am I gonna make a video like that for?
I'm gonna make some when the remake video comes out. I'm gonna be doing worst gameplay. I'm gonna be like, because I have like I have a gameplay section from YouTuber called Where's Barry. So and I credit who the gameplay's from, and so I'll be like, gameplay footage by Mercy.
No, I'm gonna be like shout out to Mc0nel for testing out this mod for me. It's gonna be the most screwed up mod. of like Nemesis or Mr. X or something.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks. I found this in his files.
Oh man, I am not prepared to talk about Resident Evil 3 remake though.
We don't have to talk so much about it. I mean, you're gonna make future stuff in the future too. You know?
I know.
So your thoughts will be
I try to be as vague as I can with 3 remakes. So,
I mean, you have. I mean, who knows how long any of us are gonna live? I might die in the next year. Who knows, right? We have a long lifespan of just talking crap about Resident Evil 3. Okay, so there's a lot of time. Look at how long Under the Mail's been talking about it. Probably. I mean, I don't really know.
Goodness. Yeah, he's still talking about it, huh?
Isn't it crazy though? Resident Evil 3 remake is like 6 years old in April. In 2 months from now, yeah, it's gonna be 6 years old.
Still crap on it, and people still crap on it.
I know, but isn't that kind of crazy? 6 years ago was Resident Evil, and think about that too. 6 years before that was like what? I know it's not Resident Evil related, like PT. You know, like we go. It's crazy how time works. 6 years before that, Dead Space came out. You know?
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know.
6 years before Dead Space came out,
Resident Evil 1 remake.
Resident Evil 1 remake.
6 years before that one was I can't do math. Oh, Resident Evil 1, yeah, the original. And then 6 years
before Resident Evil 1. I'm playing.
What's in 1990? No. Okay.
It's in 1990. Super Mario.
Really?
Super Mario World. But
it might very much be.
So I don't think I've like ever heard much of an opinion from you about Resident Evil 3. Like we've talked Resident Evil 1, we've talked 2, we've talked 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've talked Revelations, we've talked Code Veronica a little bit, and you know, I don't think we've ever really talked. Like you've heard me talk about 3, but I don't think I've really ever heard you talk, because I know where you kind of like stand on like how much you like certain games. Like I know you don't like 6. I know you don't like, or I know you like 8 a lot. I know you like 7 a lot. I know you like 2 remake a lot, and I know 4 is your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've heard how you feel about like a lot of these games, but I don't think I've ever like. I know how you feel about 3 remake, but I don't think I've ever like heard you like really talk about original 3.
Yeah. Well.
Resident Evil.
I like 3 Nemesis a lot. I really do. I don't know where to place it in terms of talking about that compared to the other ones, but well, actually I can with 1, because like I said, 2 is my least favorite of the trilogy. 1 is my favorite. 3 is right next to it, but 3 is very, very close, I'd say, next to it. I think 3 is probably one of the harder ones because of Nemesis, and I always think about the Clock Tower. The Clock Tower boss fight I hate. I mean the outside Clock Tower boss fight, I hate that boss fight so much. It's like right outside of the Clock Tower. It is so frustrating.
The one where he's still in like where he still has the rocket launcher and he's killing
Yeah, and
you.
he's running at you, shooting at you,
Oh my
stopping, grabbing
god,
you, you
dude.
know. It is
Oh
so
my god.
infuriating. I'm not saying the other ones aren't hard, but I don't remember the other ones as much as that one, going back and forth with it.
I remember.
Um,
Yeah.
but I like Three Nemesis a lot. I like the city, especially like the desolate nature of it. I like how it's very unpredictable with how it or it can be unpredictable. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you run to one area. Oh, there's this girl screaming. I really like that part where you hear the girl screaming. You go over there and then go up the stairs, and she's already dead. She's dead on the ground. The zombies are taking her over. You know,
I'd
and
say it's probably the most non-linear Resident Evil
yeah,
game.
yeah, it's non-linear, and like this whole you have this map of like so many sections of the city, something you're not going to see in the 3 remake, but in the original you see all of that.
Yeah.
And I love the atmosphere, and I do really like the bright lights in the remake and all, but it is not even close
Yeah.
to the same
It
feeling or
doesn't
anything. It's
it
just
doesn't
not.
fit the whole depressed like
It doesn't, and
atmosphere.
it's like it's in a small area full of places. Oh, look over there. There's the gas
Yeah.
station you went to in the original. Well, guess what? You can't go there now. So
What's
no.
like it's like three like even though I say one and its remake are the most survival horror and the
Mhm.
most lonely feeling, three does three does feel pretty lonely too. I think I should give credit where credit is due. Three does feel very lonely
Mhm.
as a game. It doesn't do it as well as one remake, but it does feel lonely. It makes you feel like there's no hope. It's a
Yeah.
very depressing game. It's very it's not like Silent Hill 2 depressing, but like if you dig deep into it, a very depressing game. It's not as linear. It's very unpredictable. You can go like one place, or you can go through a room and dogs will pop out. And then
Mhm.
in another playthrough, you can go into that same room and then there's like hunter gammas, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like the Drain Dimos. Like they won't be
yeah,
there, and then like there'll be something else, and then now they're replacing it and stuff. You know.
yeah, or and even though I know like Nemesis is scripted, he is very unpredictable. He'll show up. He'll show up out of nowhere. Like
That.
no cutscene, no nothing. Like when you're doing the
Yeah.
when you're doing the puzzle where you have to go into like the like before you get to the train, the crystal puzzle, the one where you have to like, or the diamond puzzle where you have to go find the diamond pieces
Oh
around the
yeah.
city so you can go and do the stuff with the train car and whatnot, um and he just pops up, and like I know it's a small area, but he pops up and he still follow you. And Nemesis, like, what I love in the original is he can follow you anywhere, even in like safe zone, besides like the safe room. He can follow you anywhere, puzzle rooms, inside of buildings, anywhere, and he's fast as hell.
It's
And he
scary,
takes it. So it's scary, dude. It's
and you don't have it in the
anxiety. You don't have that in the remake. No, I
no
make a
RPD.
point. No RPD. Well, I mean, you can go, but just not as
Just
Jill.
no Nemesis. No Nemesis in the
Yeah,
RPG.
and
And yeah.
it's like, dude, like Nemesis is so much more intimidating and more, and excuse my language, more of a badass than the
Mhm.
original. Like I love his look. It's not scary, but his look is like really iconic and really unique, and it looks so good on him.
Oh yeah.
And even as and even the voice acting in this game is amazing.
Mhm.
Like every like line that you hear in that game, it's so much. It's really good. And I know people like clown the old games because their voice acting is bad. It's actually really good in three. Three has a really good voice acting. Like the line where it's like, I think I mentioned this to you before, but like the line where it's like, what's the point of living if I can't feel anything, or if I can't feel pain
Mhm.
when Jill is infected, or when she's like, before I turn, kill me or something. Like she delivers, her
Mhm.
in the '99 game delivers it so much better than
Oh yeah.
something in the remake or the stars line. If you, that's probably like maybe my favorite line in the third game, and it's delivered so much better. And especially Jill, she's written very well. It's a very deep game. Characters are a lot more deep and in depth. Level design's amazing. How it looks. The music is. What's up?
Once you get into the music too, it's perfect timing. I was just thinking about this too, and I don't know if I mean I'd have to think about every single save theme, but I'm not like the biggest fan of the save theme compared to most of the others. I feel like for maybe Resident Evil 3 and even 2, but Resident Evil 3's save theme feels the most fitting, if that makes sense.
It does.
Like it feel you like we're talking about I always keep saying the desolate nature of the city and the ruins, or it feels like that, right? Like it is just it's just kind of sad in that sense. The music is so it perfects that, like it actually just like I can see that, it's so good.
I'd say it's
fitting.
I'd say it's probably my favorite Resident Evil save theme.
Oh yeah, really.
And then second place would probably be Resident Evil 7.
Mine is Resident Evil 1 remake. I just can't help it. I love the Resident Evil 1 remake.
Well, I love it. I'd say it's probably number 3. And it's not bad. It's just like I think 3 and 7's save themes are a lot better. And
I mean, they all have like such good save themes. Realistically, I for some reason 2 and 3, I don't know why or what it is, but like, and I don't know if results count as stuff like that, but like Resident Evil 5 has good results. Screen. They're not whatever. Themes and Revelations. Especially I love Revelations. This like, it's like you want to go back. You want to be there for something. It's weird. It's a nostalgic feeling for me. But
yeah. I'd say I will listen to 3's like when I because I play video games downstairs and I'll have the TV up.
Mm-hmm.
I will just when I'm in the save theme for Resident Evil 3, I will just sit in there. I'll just stay in there.
Yeah.
Because I love the music so much. I love the bass of it, and it's because of my subwoofers downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Not subwoofers, sorry. My speakers. They have really good bass on it.
Yeah.
And I would just listen to it. And listening to Resident Evil 3's save music is just amazing, and even the song that plays during the when Jill's giving her monologue about how they listened to Umbrella and they kind of screwed themselves if they have the courage to fight. That scene, music is amazing there. The credits theme, where it's like that's amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say maybe like the only song I don't really like off the soundtrack is like Nemesis's theme. I'm not a huge fan of his theme.
I am, to be honest, I don't remember. But
it's like a dun 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 dun. That one.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know.
And when I made like I did make my Resident Evil brick films back in the day, and when I was doing 3 Nemesis, I actually, instead of using his theme, I used Birkin's theme.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh yeah, I think I know you're talking about that one. Yeah.
I use that one. City of Ruin is amazing too. I think that's City of Ruin.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the one you bring up a lot, or was it?
That well, especially like when you're in the city. Yeah, that one's really good. RPD, obviously, that's an iconic song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've like really mentioned like music in 2, and I do want to kind of say the music in 2 is really good, just not as good. Like the credits theme for the original 2 and the remake 2 are bangers, and the when you're like before the Mr. X fight in the remake as Leon,
yeah,
that song is a banger too. Um,
I gotta say,
Cody
Resident
Mack.
Evil 1, that ending is one of my favorite soundtracks.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
definitely. Um, Neptune's Tank is really good too. I love Neptune's Tank.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know, dude. I'd say like original three is probably my favorite of the soundtracks. Second favorite would probably be Code Veronica.
Oh yeah.
Um, because I do like a lot of the songs in Code Veronica. So I'd say to me, I don't know, like when you play three, like does anything like ever feel like out of place?
Like I don't know. What do you mean?
Like any section of three, any monster, any
Um,
like this I'd say maybe like the Gravedigger, but
I don't know. Like I said, I really have to get back into those ones. That's why it's kind of why like I don't have much of a say. And like I remember certain things.
yeah,
I've only played 2 and 3 once in my life, and it was
right.
also while I was on medicine. So I,
Yeah.
unironically, it was like in a bad time. So it
Oh
was
yeah.
like
No, I get it. I get it.
I really mean that. Like that year, I don't remember a lot of things that happened in it, and I'm not. But I do remember a lot from those games still, and I do remember certain things. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it just happened to be that time period, you know. So you know, I don't remember certain, especially
Yeah.
soundtracks or anything like that. Right? I know enough
But
about one, I think, but
yeah,
I still,
I'd say
you know.
I'm just saying like what I was trying to get at was like besides like maybe the Gravedigger,
Mhm.
nothing really feels out of place with three. The quick turn and the dodge mechanic kind of suck
Oh
in that
yeah,
game.
yeah. It also introduced. I think that was the first game where you could find. I know it's such a small thing, small detail, but like you can go
Mhm.
backwards. Like you could, like if you. What am I doing? What am I talking about? You know how like you can
Like,
turn back.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's the first one that does that, and I think it's the first time you can.
the back
Maybe it's
like
a.
backtracking.
No. Like you can turn if you if you hold down X or B or whatever the running thing is, and then pull
Yeah,
your thing back, then you turn around with that one signal. I don't.
yeah,
That wasn't
yeah.
a
That's
thing
quick
in
turn.
1 and 2.
That's quick turn. That's quick turn.
Yeah, quick turn. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know what you meant. And then I think you can also, or was it Code Veronica that does that? No, maybe Code Veronica doesn't do that either. Could you walk? Could you? I think you could run up most of the stairs by yourself, right?
Yeah,
Couldn't
you
you?
can. Yeah,
Yeah, that might
and
have been
then
the first one.
Code Veronica went back to
I was just
the
gonna say, Code Veronica does that.
yeah, which I think is a major downgrade. But
Yeah.
three did it first, and then I think one remake did it way better.
Yeah.
Um, what's it called? It's just like I don't know, dude. I think three is a masterpiece. I think, dude, even like you can backtrack a lot of areas too. Like you
Hmm.
like the Dario Rosso area. Like you can go back
Hmm.
and grab a bunch of crap and he's dead.
Yeah.
Or or you can meet Carlos in two different ways. And the choice system was like what made that game so unique too, you know?
Hmm.
And then you had the choice to fight Nemesis or run. And when you fought him, you'd get your butt whooped. And it was like, there was so much about it that made it so good.
Hmm.
It's like such a masterpiece of a game. And it kept you invested.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so Capcom has this amazing game. It's getting a remake, which I remember like when it got first announced, I was like, oh, dude, I want that game. They're remaking three. You know, the two remake was amazing. The remake in three, it was $60, and then I worked for $60. I didn't pre-order it, which thank God, but I eventually got my hands on it. Which now it's on like now it's like at a lower price, which I'll give Capcom credit where credit's due
Yeah.
for not making it $60 anymore. It's like what 30, $20 somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
for you. Um, but it's how would how do you like? Because I'm probably gonna dig into it. How do you feel about 3 remake? I know we've talked about it, but how do you feel about 3 remake?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, like totally now, because I'm sure you
Yeah,
kind of like it as a game. I assume outside of being a remake, you know.
yeah,
But I don't really view it that way because I don't like
yeah.
it as a remake, and I don't really like it much as a game. I think the gameplay is
Right.
fun. Like I like the dodge mechanic and everything like that. Like how it. I think it's way. I think it's better handled, especially than most games in general. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, and like I don't want to say I don't like. I don't want to say I hate Nemesis in general. Like I do like his design. Like I do probably prefer the original design, but I do really like the remake design a
Yeah.
lot. Again, I don't really like the night sky. Like maybe it's just graphics and everything, but like again, there's a different feeling in the original in the city and everything like that. And there's like I mean, yeah, we all the cut content and everything, obviously. But when it comes
Right.
down to it, it's a very very short game. I think it's one of the best games to speed run. I think Village is also the same situation. I
Oh
think
yeah.
3 Remake and Village are like the two, in my opinion, best Resident Evil games to speed run quickly at least.
Oh yeah.
And not get bored with it after a long time and get all the challenges or whatever the case might be, right? But I don't really like 3 Remake because I don't like a lot of the sections in it. I think it's super fast. All the areas, I'd say the majority of the areas kind of just suck and I think are just like extremely rushed. I think one of the best areas I could say that for is definitely the sewer. I hate the sewer. It's just a small part of the game, right? It's such a simple part of the
Right.
game, but the structure of it is, in my opinion, really, really bad. I think it's really, really bad. You keep running into those, Hunter Gamma
Mhm.
things, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
the sewer. It's really, really stupid in my opinion. I don't know how they
And
came up with that.
the original or
The
remake?
remake. I'm talking about the remake. Um,
I don't, I don't think those are. Were those the fish things?
yeah, yeah. They're the giant. They're the
Those are
hunter.
Hunter Gammas?
Yeah, yeah. Those are. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be like. Hold on. RE3 Hunter
What?
Gammas, right? They had. Yeah, they're the Hunter Gammas in Resident Evil 3 remake. They have like a whole different design. I know, but that's what they
I
are.
th- I didn't know those are the Hunter. I thought those are like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like some weird fish monsters, some crappy second version of the Geodude.
Oh no, no, no. I think they're supposedly, I guess, unless they might be have like a different name. I don't really know, but it says they're called the Hunter Gammas when I look it up. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't like their design either, but it's like, but
Yeah,
like the
they're
sewer
pretty
section,
lame looking.
yeah,
Oh,
the
I hate
sewer
this section.
section
It's
just.
it's just so boring.
I don't like the Drain Deimos. I think the Drain Deimos look so cool in the original. I know they look. You might
Oh yeah.
argue that maybe they're a little generic, but like I think they're even more generic in the remake. I don't like
Oh yeah.
how they made them so small and everything, and I
Yeah.
don't mind the section actually. That whole section with I actually really like that section. Uh,
Yeah, it's a really good section, I
I think
think.
it's one of the better parts of the game. And yeah, obviously they cut the clock tower and everything like that. But I keep going back
Yeah.
to that, cutting stuff, changing stuff, altering stuff. I don't like the
Yeah.
structure of the game. I really don't. I really don't like it. It's not even just like, oh, the linearity of it is
Yeah.
like, I mean, Village is very linear. I really like Village. I can't help it. But when it comes to 3, I really just don't like
Yeah.
the
Well,
environmental
there's
design,
a
you know?
very big difference between 3 and Village. It's you're taking Village. It's its own thing. 3 was
Yeah.
a remake.
Yeah.
So I can, I fine. If you like Village and it's linear and whatever, that's cool. It's its own thing. It doesn't
I
make
mean, it
it
also has a
any
lot more to
lesser.
offer compared to,
Oh
3.
yeah,
Like, there's
like
a lot
I'd
of, I mean, there's not much
it's a lot.
exploration, but it's a little bit
It's a
more.
lot more fun to. I'd say the level design's a lot better than 3 remake
Oh, yeah, yeah,
to me. I mean,
yeah.
it. Um. I- So I think I've mentioned this before.
Hmm.
I don't think a lot of people talk about it. Um. 3 remake just doesn't feel like a remake, and it's not because they cut stuff. So you play like Resident Evil 2 or 4, and like yeah, it's drastically different and different art style and graphics and everything. But it never felt like unrecognizable, if that makes sense. Like when you play 2, you're like you play it and you're like, oh, I'm actually in the RPD. I'm fighting William Birkin. That's Ada Wong. That's Ben. That's Chief Irons. That's that's the there's that elevator part, or there's that elevator. Yeah, no, yeah, there's the elevator part from original 2 or whatever, or there's that's Mr. X. He looks just like Mr. X, just updated graphics, and the the costume or the looks of the, like, how the characters look, they don't look, they're altered, but they don't look different. Like, you can still tell Leon is still wearing his RPD stuff. Claire is still wearing her jacket and everything, and it looks like Resident Evil 2. It feels like Resident Evil 2. Even if it's a different game, it still feels like Resident Evil 2. You can play it and you're like, yeah, everything I'm playing, this is Resident Evil 2, you know? And when I play 3 Remake, it just doesn't feel like any of that.
I feel like I think too much of like 2 Remake when I think, and I know that like the gameplay is, I mean, we were just talking. I mean, you're talking about 2 right now, but like obviously 2 and 3 are so similar, asset wise 2 in the original. But for some reason, when it comes to the remake, I really, different inventory slots, and different, you have different knife mechanic, whatever the case might be, all the whatever. But I still, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but
yeah, no, I mean.
It's also because I wasn't introduced to the originals, so I wasn't like, I am new to it really, like, or back then really, and it's crazy how it's been like 6 years or whatever. But like, I know you grew up with that stuff and you have better recognition over it than I do, because I didn't grow up with the original games, I fell in love with it for a different reason, but I don't know enough about these ones either. Because I've only played them once, so. But I really like them a lot more than the remakes, for sure. Well, I mean, I think I like Resident Evil 2 remake just as much, if not more, than the the original. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, I don't know, dude. It's just I'm just saying though. It's like, I know you don't like remember a lot of Nemesis like in the original, but it's just.
I mean, I remember it a lot more than 2. I will say that. I do remember a lot more about it than I did with 2.
But like, 2 switched things around, but it still felt like Resident Evil 2, or God forbid I mention this on your channel, Silent Hill 2 remake. Even though they changed things around.
Stop! It's traumatizing me. I can't talk about this. No.
Even Silent Hill 2 remake, it still feels recognizable.
Do you want me to get the in-water ending for my life?
Oh God. So like 3 remake just doesn't feel like Resident Evil 3 at all.
Yeah.
Nemesis doesn't feel like Nemesis. Jill doesn't feel like Jill.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
Carlos and Tyrell are improved characters, but what's the point of improving them if they're never going to return in a Resident Evil game? Especially fucking Carlos. Sorry for swearing.
I mean,
Nikolai's the same character. Mikhail is maybe a little different. I'm kind of just being vague about this. Story is butchered to hell. Level design is butchered to hell.
The beginning section.
Beginning section is terrible. Nemesis's intimidation is gone.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that's the saddest part, I'd say. And then you
oh
take
yeah,
him out of the title.
yeah, took him out of the title. That's just Resident Evil
Wonder
3.
why.
I think Capcom saw how Resident Evil 3 came out, or the remake, and they're like, "Oh, damn it, dude! They messed this one so up, but we don't have enough time to go back and fix it. So just take Nemesis out of the title and just release it. Just release
Yeah.
it. We'll figure out something. We'll figure out something." And then we just never got like a director's cut, which I feel like we should have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they'll do it in the future. I really, part of me is like,
I
okay,
doubt it.
80% of me says no, but 20, okay, I don't need to add percentages, but
Yeah,
it's a fever dream, I guess,
yeah.
You want to see it, but who really know? I mean, people advocate it. It's not, I mean, but I'm not going to start something, I'm not going to be
Yeah.
like hashtag hashtag release the
Hashtag
release
Resident Evil 3 director's cut.
yeah, exactly.
Well, it kind of just sucks too because there's gonna be some person who's gonna be like, I don't want to play the original. The original sucks. Blah 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 blah. I'm stupid. Well, okay, whatever. And they're gonna play the remake, and they're not gonna experience like with the 2 remake. At least you could still experience 95% of the stuff that was in the original 2.
Yeah.
They can play it, and it's basically somewhat of the same. Obviously, different games, but and different experiences, but still the same stuff. Opposed to 3, where it's like, you're not gonna experience what made 3 so good.
Yeah.
And I think I think I mentioned it before. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in the video or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because of 4 being developed in 2018, I think they just pushed 3 aside. They didn't even work on Code Veronica, which I don't know why, because that was right after 3
Mm-hmm.
or during 3, and then they work on 4, and 4 is amazing. I know it's a different team that worked on 3. Doesn't make it an excuse because B Team worked on Separate Ways,
Yeah.
and that's, in my opinion, better than the original Separate Ways.
Yeah, it's a pretty good DLC. Yeah.
So, and it's like, well, maybe it's just them redeeming themselves. Maybe it's because Capcom hates Resident Evil 3. Because you gotta realize, Resident Evil 3 didn't sell that well back then.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about Resident Evil 3. It's maybe the worst selling in the trilogy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have no idea what all that is like, financially or anything.
Yeah.
You guys, everyone has to be like me when it comes down to like playing video games and stuff. Because
Yeah.
you know how like in older games you like, oh, those fixed camera angles and whatever, like I don't want to play that
Yeah.
game. Me, when
Yeah.
I was younger, I was like, I don't want to play those games because we have
Yeah.
remakes. But I will still play Code Veronica and 1 remake in 0 because they're canon.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the older ones. I didn't know that the older ones were still somewhat canon. So my logic is always like, well, remakes replace stuff just like director's cuts sometimes do. So I'm just gonna play the canon ones. I don't care about the older stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the original games were. I mean, I would play those if they were on the console. To be fair,
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't want Resident Evil 4 to get a remake at all. I really, really didn't, because I was like, they cannot replace this. They cannot.
I didn't want.
And when it did come out, I'm
either.
like, they still cannot replace this. It didn't happen.
They
even though
can't.
it's a good
No.
game.
They can't replace. They can't replace the original 4, dude. I'm sorry.
It's the only canon one. I know how Capcom. I don't know I don't even know where people get Capcom's policy of they're both canon. I don't know where that's stated. I can never find it, but I'll just go with it.
I can't find it either. But I think you told me about it, so it's like, okay.
I've complained to you about like there's been things like that in fandoms though, and I've complained to you about it. Like when I hear stuff like all Doom mods are canon. They're not all canon. That's a lie. That's a fallacy. I don't know where that came from, but someone took something from ID Software and made it, every single mod's canon now. It's not true.
The Doom mods are canon. So the Sonic Doom mod is canon, huh?
Yes, the hentai thing was canon with Doom. Whatever it's called, H Doom. I should probably cut that out, but it's not canon. He didn't do that unless ID Software says or Hugo Martin's like, yeah, he did that because every single mod is canon. Like, no, because it says he travels through multiple dimensions. I think through Quake Champions lore, and someone took that and maybe some other person and said, well, that basically says or implies that every single Doom mod is canon. That makes no sense to me. It might have implied as like a joke. I don't even think it implied it as a joke, but I'm going to defend that. That's okay. I'm sorry. I had to bring that up.
No, it's
not true.
It's fine.
It's stupid.
I mean,
even though Doom's kind of stupid sometimes, but
it is what it is. I don't know, dude. I just think that. And I'm gonna say this, as disappointing as Resident Evil 3 is, I love it. I still love it.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's a super rushed game, which I'm gonna bring up here, even though I have it planned for another video, it's very unfinished. It's a very unfinished game. I got out of balance with a lot of the games where it just. I couldn't progress. It broke the game. I had to restart.
Yeah.
And then you have texture pop-ins. And then you have duplicating furniture. It's very like, why?
Yeah.
But I still love it. Not the Carlos parts. Those parts boring as all hell. In the remake, the original is fine. Mercenaries obviously doesn't return, which I don't understand because 3 is the one that introduced mercenaries. Unless you want to count Hunks mode as a mercenaries mode. And even then, I think mercenaries should have been in Resident Evil 2's remake as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's like did you cut it from the game? Where it was introduced. Do you remember though, like when before Resident Evil 4 remake came out, and me and you would just like, I don't know if you remember this, but like we meme the hell out of it. We're just like, what are they gonna cut in 4 remake? Are they gonna cut everybody memed the hell out of it. Where it's like, what are they gonna cut in 4 remake? Are they gonna cut the castle? Are they gonna cut the island? Are they gonna cut half the bosses and monsters? Obviously, we got proved wrong after that. But it's like, you remember, like, we meme the hell out of that, but we were also like kind of scared about it because
it was really scary.
It was scary, dude. It was like they're gonna ruin a masterpiece of a game. They're gonna ruin my favorite game of all time. Exactly. They didn't, which thank God. And I love 4 remake, but it's like, dude, it's a different time, dude. It was like I was excited, but I was scared.
We did cut one section though.
Which section? I forget.
It's always going to bother me because I thought it would be so cool in the remake how they would do it. So obviously the U3 was cut out of the game just for a quick section right here. And it was moved into separate ways instead. Don't have an issue with that. The issue is, for me, that cage thing. The cage thing with the original game. They could have done something great with that. And I don't know if they're planned on like what they replaced. I don't know if it's really a replacement or not. I don't really think so. But you're in like this little area nearby the laser rooms with this monster thing, and I think it's the worst part of Separate Ways because it's just like it's basically a run and done section. I would say. I think it's like I don't want to say it reminds me of Resident Evil 3. I mean the remake or 3 remake. If I'm thinking of the developers like that, I was just thinking about that, but it might have nothing to do with that, but I really dislike how that part was cut. I know we're getting to 4 later, but I don't like that. How they cut that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's just 3 remake really kind of just killed it for Resident Evil for me.
I think it does a lot of damage. Really.
It did. It was like we had like Resident Evil 3 remake, and that was
$60 too.
Yeah, it was 60. We had Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I said 3 remake was great. I mean, I like it. I love the game, but I have my problems
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
We had
It's
two,
fair.
we had two it was more just disappointment. It's not so much of a bad game. It's just disappointment.
Hmm.
And then you had Village come out, and Village is good too, but the story was just terrible.
We'll get into
And the brain
that.
and the brain dead puzzles. We'll get into that later though. But it was just I don't know, dude. 3 kind of just like I just wanted to go back to the old games for a while, and
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like obviously one of my biggest issues I think is, people argue this all the time, is Jill. That
oh yeah,
Jill isn't the same character as she was, and what scares me of another remake of the first game is that she's also going to act like this, and I don't think this has anything to do
I'm
with her PTSD or
hoping
anything
not.
like that. It bothers me so much when it comes back to that, because that's not what it is at all, where she just, becomes kind of like that. That's not how she really acted in the
Yeah,
original version, and I know that version is
yeah,
going to be leading on because of Death Island. She has that same design and everything. And the thing
but
is, I don't have an
she
issue
doesn't
with her
really.
character. You know,
She doesn't. She acts very different in Death Island. I
I'm
will
sure.
say
Yeah, I'm sure I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know. So maybe you can.
it's
And I wouldn't
it's
care really
actually
either, because it takes place in like 2015 anyway. So I
yeah. Well,
mean,
yeah, it's like after 6.
yeah, it is. It is. It is. N5. Like it is a little bit. I don't mind that so much, but I know they're probably going to be carrying on. Maybe I don't. I just don't want that to be the way she acts in the first remake. I just
Oh
don't.
yeah, no,
Because
I
that's not
agree.
what Jill represented in my opinion. Like, not even just like in my opinion. That's just how she just wasn't at all. And
Jill,
I don't hate her character. I really don't hate her character. I hate it's just not her character.
it's not. That's not Jill. Okay,
It's
you
just
gotta look
not.
at Jill as this. You gotta look at Jill like this, especially coming from one remake.
Yeah, yeah.
As badass as Jill was, she was a fucking. I'm sorry, bleep that out. In the original, she was scared all the time,
Yeah.
and especially in the original 3. So I don't know why they were trying to make her more of a badass and whatever. I think my friend Lucas, he
Hmm.
tried to make the point. Or no, not him. My friend Break Monkey, which you guys should go check out. He's awesome. He made the point that because Jill would have felt similar to Claire, that's why they changed her character so much. And I said, that's a good point, but Jill and Claire are still very different characters. Jill, while caring, is a lot more stern than Claire was. Claire
Hmm.
was a little bit more laid back, a lot more like Chris in a way. So, and plus color palettes. Claire was a lot more upbeat. Jill was a lot more, with her red. And Jill was a lot more sad and depressed with her blue and everything, right?
Yeah.
and and I do think they do like the really bad stuff, Justice and Death Island. I think Capcom knew they screwed up with
Hmm.
uh Jill in the remake, so they're like, hey, Death Island, boom, and they do a lot better with her. I think her character works a lot more in that case, right?
That's good.
Death Island is more about Jill. It's her dealing with the stuff that happened after 5 with her being brainwashed, and explains a lot more of like why she wasn't in 6 or Revelations or whatever. And which it doesn't make sense with Revelations, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Revelations 2, I mean, but it explains like a lot about her, and she acts like Jill for the most part. And she's not like I don't have a problem with swearing, but I feel like every sentence it's how they do Lady in Devil May Cry the anime, and how they do Jill in the Resident Evil 3 remake. I hate because they swear in like maybe every sentence,
Yeah.
and it's like I swear a lot, but it's like I don't do it to the point where it's annoying.
Hmm.
It's just a part of my vocabulary, you know.
Take that, you bitch. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's like
I don't
it's
remember if
it's
that was one line or not.
It's like it's so her dialogue is just so cringy in the remake, and I think they do a lot of justice towards her in the Death Island movie, especially the railgun scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how they like made it where it's like the railgun is like, oh, she can pick it up easily. Like in Death Island, she's like struggling with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. 3, I love it, but it's disappointing. The remake, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. I'm, you know, hello, everyone. This is Mercy here, speaking from the future, actually. And I wanted to thank Mc0nel for showing up and being on here. I think it was really, really fun talking to him, obviously. If you haven't checked his channel out, go check it out. It is in the link in the description or at the end of this video very, very soon right now. I just want to say I cut this into 2 parts because it was really, really long. We were originally going to talk about the other Resident Evil games, but I think we dragged it on a little too long for just these games in general, which is completely fine and fair. I think it is probably more important anyway talking about these ones specifically because it is Raccoon City and we're coming back to it in Resident Evil 9 anyway. And I don't really know what the other games have much to do with 9, but obviously they do. Same setting, I guess, as the ones we're talking about, other than maybe Code Veronica. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, thank you guys so much, or anyone who is watching, and go check out his channel. The second part will just be part 2, or just talking about Code Veronica 0 and extras that might have been a little funny, or just something that didn't make it into this video. So yeah, go check that out after this one when it releases, obviously. So